And number 6, what Cleopatra, Herod, and the birth of Jesus? How is all that connected? And then what does this show us about the rule of God over the events of the world? Right? So if you guys can, try to scan that QR code. This is a poem that we're going to read first. Okay? The poem's called Footprints in the Sand by Mary Stevenson. I want to see if it works. If this QR code works. Because it should take you to a website that shows the poem. Because it's kind of small. I don't want to put it in multiple slides. Did it work? All right. Perfect. That's like my one free QR code from this site. All right, anyways, this is called Footprints in the Sand by Mary Stevenson. It says, "One night I dreamed a dream. As I was walking along the beach with my Lord, across the sky, dark sky, flashed scenes from my life. From each scene, I noticed 2 sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to me and one to my Lord. After the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. I noticed that at many times along my life, the path of my life, especially at the very lowest and saddest times, there was only one set of footprints. This really troubled me. So I asked the Lord about it. Lord, you said once I decided to follow you. You'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome times of my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why. When I needed you the most, you would leave me." He whispered, "My precious child, I love you and will never leave you. Never ever during your trials and testings. When you only saw one set of footprints, that was then that I carried you." So, what are your thoughts about this poem? Adam, you don't have to cry, man. It's okay. It's allergies, guys. It's allergies. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts here on this poem?
I think that's oftentimes how we can feel. We can feel like we're going through this thing and God is going to be there for us, and all we see is us going alone. But really, He's helped us get through it the entire time. And I think
Yeah.
we can credit that.
Yeah. I think this is all of us, right? This is all of us. Anyone ever had a hard time? Well, Danielle has it 24/7. Hi. Jim, you have something? Okay. Yeah. Exactly. He said that this poem is very encouraging, right? Because I think we all feel this way, that, why do I feel so alone right now? But we're not, right? We're not. Anybody else thoughts? Mike, anything? Yep. Be patient. Yeah. Giving us a chance to grow. Yep. Anybody else? Yeah, Jesse.
I have a hard time seeing Jesus when I'm upset. So I had to sort of come up with this idea in my head. And one of the things is when I'm sad and I need a hug, I can picture Jesus sitting beside me.
Sure.
I don't want him to see him.
I'm around you, Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we don't always recognize in those times, especially well, when my sister passed away, right? It's kind of hard to see, like, why would you do this, right? Like, why would you allow this? But he's there. He's actually got me, my mom, my dad, and my brother all in one armful, right? He's carrying us, right? So it is hard to see Jesus in those hard times, but he's there, right? Just like she said, he's got his arm around us, or he's literally holding us, right? All right, so this actually goes to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 31, okay, where it says, "And in the wilderness, there you saw how the Lord your God carried you, as a father carries his son, all the way you went until you reached this place," right? So this poet reminds us that even though it appears that we are alone, that he is not with us, we're not, right? We're not truly alone. We don't always see Jesus working in our lives, okay? But often he appears, when it appears he's absent, he's actually the most present, okay? Actually carrying us through those troublesome times. So how might this poem relate to the silent years? He's obviously, still there. He doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't go on like vacation or anything, right? He doesn't need vacation. Any other thoughts? Yeah. 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 Yeah, we can't see what God sees, right? We can't see the future. We can't see sometimes the purpose behind something. Yeah. I mean, ask Bill. I mean, geez. He said 400 years is a long time. Jim? Yeah. Man named it the silent years. God didn't say that, right? Man said that because it appears he's not there, right? Mike, you're going to say something? During the Middle Ages? No, that's more of the like 1000, AD, all that kind of, yeah. That's further on. Long way to go still for that. Yeah. 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 Anyone familiar with the show Bluey? Great show. Great show. But it kind of makes parents, especially dads, right? It makes dads look really bad. Because the dad is almost always playing with his two girls. Even though he has work to do, he's making time to go play this little game. And it makes dads look bad because I don't always do that, right? I can't always do that. But yeah, we only see it because that show only lasts 8 minutes. We only see 8 minutes into the life of Bluey, right? We can only see that amount of time, that we're of that hard time for us, right? But we don't see the whole thing, right? Yeah. So these are called the silent years, right? 400 BC to 1 BC. It seems that God is not talking to Israel during this time. Okay. And it kind of looks like that sacred and redemptive history are put on hold. That's kind of what it seems like, right? While the secular history keeps going. Yes, Bill. Yeah. Yep. This chapter talks about some of those stories. Yeah. Yeah. He was saying that there are some of the more of the Jewish literature, right, that talks about during this 400 years, like the Maccabees, right, and stuff like that. So, which this chapter does talk about the Maccabees. All right. So yeah, there are other texts outside of the Bible that do mention it. Other types of religious texts, right? Just not biblical. All right. So, anyways, secular history is moving though, right? It just keeps moving. Some think God's presence was withdrawn for those 400 years. That's why it's called the silent years. But thinking about that poem, is he really gone? Like, is he really absent during this time? I don't think so, right? Yeah, I mean, we don't have the biblical, verses for it, but yeah, I think he's still there, obviously, right? And then we're gonna look at that. Here's the timeline here. So we see in those white boxes, we have Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, Joshua, Judges, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings, right? And then between those in those yellow boxes is that 70 years in Babylonian captivity. Okay, this is when the temple is destroyed, right, during this time. This is about 605 BC to 536 BC. And then we see the books of Ezra and Nehemiah taking place after after captivity, right? And we see the book of Esther actually happens between there also. Okay, so now we're talking about that small little line between those yellow boxes and that like blue half circle, right? That blue half circle is the New Testament, and we're in that small little dash there of 400 years. That's where we're going to be talking about. Okay, so Israel was shaken by wars and strife during this time. A lot of important events happen that greatly affect God's purpose for the world. Okay. The end of which is marked by God himself coming into the world. Okay? And we know that little baby, look how cute he is. Look how cute. You think baby Jesus was cute? He had little pinchable cheeks, maybe? I don't know. He wasn't? Isaiah says that? Okay. Is that when he's a baby or when he's grown? Grown, yeah. Yeah, cute baby, oh yeah. Hey, one time, Danielle and I we saw a baby at the Walmart in Searcy, Arkansas. It literally was like, looked like an alien. Yeah, it's like head was like really round on top and like came to a point like at its chin. This big old bug eyes just staring at us. We walked by the aisle and saw it. We're like, let's crap. And we went like around. It was really, really weird. Anyways, sorry. In this chapter, we're going to take a deeper dive into the Greek Empire. Okay, starting with Alexander. We're going to transition from the Greeks to the Romans to understand the events that shaped all three types of history: sacred, secular, and redemptive. I wonder how far I can go here. Let me see here. All right, so we'll just do this. This is the empire of Alexander the Great. Looks pretty great, right? Looks pretty great. So it stretched from Greece and Egypt all the way east to India, to the Indus River, right? That's that little one of the last rivers by where it says India over there, right? This is a huge empire, right? Huge, the largest of the time. Okay. In chapter 6, we briefly discuss some cultural advancements for Greece in medicine, in politics, and in education. But we don't know how. How did these spread across Greece, right? The world from Greece. Okay, so this is just kind of a review. Okay, so Athens is left in disrepair after the Peloponnesian War. This was mainly Sparta versus Athens, right, in this war, and all their supports on both sides, right? So many women are left widows. Many children are left without their fathers. There's a lot of the whole area is not doing too good economically because Athens is kind of seen as kind of like the think tank, right, of the Greek world. And there's not a whole lot of food going around either during this time. So, but that's in Athens. And in Sparta, things aren't much better. There's also a food shortage there because while they were out fighting at war, who's watching their farms? Who's taking care of their farms, right? They did have slaves, but no one's managing it, right? And a lot of their vineyards and fruit trees were actually destroyed during the war, all right? So I'm going to stop right there and leave a TBC, right, to be continued to see who comes up and takes the place, right, and kind of gets Greece back under control here. So we'll talk about that next week, all right?